Good evening. Sitting in for Indira Craig, I am Miriam Abdulkawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. We'll tell you what's happened and what will happen with BTL's big plan to buy SpeedNet. And media competitors Moe's, Jules, and Lewis come to one table to collectively reject a new telecoms monopoly. Also, we'll tell you about a Saturday broad daylight murder in the city. Plus, a woman held up by the cartel inside Belize. You'll hear her terrifying story. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
I'm Randolph Friesen and I manage Westbell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
The Prime Minister's family stands to benefit substantially.
But do you know who doesn't stand to benefit? The Social Security Board and any Belizean worker who depends on them. It's so toxic, board members are resigning rather than voting. But the Social Security Board hasn't said anything. SSB owns more than 30% of BTL. Will they stay silent and allow this deal? Will they allow BTL to take on this massive liability? Will they gamble with your pension, your benefits, your fund? Politicians' families will get the payout, but Belizean workers will get the bill. SSB, don't gamble with what you can't afford to lose.
This year, Belize felt more connected than ever. We stood with the moments that shape us, our culture, our youth, our stories. And we lifted young dreams even higher, powered by advancement and possibility. Everywhere, Belize is growing, and as the nation evolves, so does the way we connect. This year, Belize showed its light, and we were honored to drive innovation across the country. As we look ahead, our promise is simple: to unite communities, nurture dreams, and continue leading Belize's digital transformation. From our Digi family to yours, wishing you a bright and prosperous 2026.
Happy New Year!
Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
as leader of the opposition, what's going to happen if, God forbid, they were to win and he becomes prime minister? What is he going to do with respect to BTL and SpeedNet at that juncture? What is he going to do with respect to the competition, to the conflict that must continue to prevail between SpeedNet, Smart, which his family owns, and I say he also owns, versus a BTL? What is he going to do if he ever gets into power? He's going to try and hobble BTL. It'll be a sellout all over again. They probably can't physically sell it because it's in the Constitution. But, Madam Speaker, I can bet they would absolutely undercut BTL for Smart. That is what the people of this country must remember.
Belizeans deserve a modern banking system. Around the world, open banking lets people safely share their financial data with trusted companies to access better services, faster loans, cheaper payments, and easier ways to move money. But Belize is still one of the hardest places to do banking. So we must ask, after years at the central bank, what has former UDP appointed Deputy Governor, now Governor, Kareem Michael, done to bring open banking to Belize?
When working with sheetrock, you need screws that give you quick penetration for a speedy, stable installation. Best Screws, fast frame and fast finish drywall screws are specifically designed for you. Engineered by Best Manufacturing, Best Screws makes every job faster and easier. These screws offer reliable performance with a superior hold. You also save money due to Best Screws affordability. They are cheaper than the leading brands. Get the job done quickly without compromising on strength. For all your drywall installations, get Best Screws Fast Frame and Fast Finish. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast tonight where a whole lot, that is, has changed since we last reported on Friday. BTL's planned acquisition of 3 cable companies is DED. That's after Centaur and CTI NextGen both withdrew themselves for consideration. This came after the extreme scrutiny 7 News had placed on the transaction and pressure applied by Lord Ashcroft, which we'll tell you about later. And it all started late last night when Centaur's Jaime Briceño sent a letter to BTL chairman announcing that his company was withdrawing from negotiations. He says, quote, "This decision is not driven by any reassessment of the underlying business rationale or valuation considerations. Rather, it reflects our assessment of the broader external and political considerations that have emerged during the process and the disproportionate personal and reputational burdens that continued negotiations would inevitably entail." That was followed by CTI NextGen this morning, which sent a similar letter saying, quote, "This consolidation would not only provide us with fair value, but also serve the best interests of BTL, its shareholders, and ultimately the Belize economy. But," it continues, "having regard to recent developments, including personal and reputational attacks being made in the media unrelated to the merits of the commercial terms, we have decided to withdraw from further negotiations." So that takes those 2 companies off the table, and they jointly own the 3rd Southern Cable Network. So we can safely assume that that too is off the table. The subtraction of those 3 companies, cable companies that is, from the acquisition takes $90 million out of what the reported $170 million package that BTL was looking at. And that leaves SpeedNet and Smart, which is asking for $80 million in its offer to BTL. Michael Ashcroft started out the press releases by sending out one yesterday evening, making it clear that the sale of those cable companies should not be linked to the sale of Smart, which he owns 77.5% of, with the Briceño family owning the remaining 22.5%. First, Ashcroft says that 77% share is owned by another of his famous charitable trusts. This one is called the Waterloo Group Charitable Trust, while the remainder of the company is owned by Jaime Briceño, 16.73%, and Renan Briceño, 5.77%. His release also says the proposed sale of SpeedNet to BTL can stand up to full scrutiny and is, quote, also not conditional on the purchase of the cable companies by BTL. The release adds, quote, the combination of the revenues of both companies should result in a very substantial increase in annual cash generation for BTL and the possibility of financial payback within 4 years. Meanwhile, this afternoon, 3 independent media houses held a joint press conference to make a stand against the proposed telemedia monopoly. For these media house owners, they say that they've been up against a monopoly before and they have the horror stories to prove why it's not a good idea. And while BTL laid out their talking points on Friday, the media houses countered it today. Here's more.
One of the things that, well, a few of the things we see BTL citing in terms of the positives has to do with reduced duplications, faster investment, just as a couple of the points that they make. How is it that as independent media houses, you're seeking to ensure the public understands both the potential benefits and the risks?
We all in the media would admit that the market is not big enough to deal with the number of TV stations and radio stations that we have. Real. That's why most away the hand to mouth and some away the boat full of water. But I would never advocate for us then to say, well, maybe the government should find the resources to bring back state-owned radio and TV and then buy all of us out. Now, that would be fantastic, and especially if I were to be able to set my price. And you would say we would get rid of redundancies. We would get rid of complication and headache and media houses were practically bankrupt. But the question that the public has to deal with is whether or not they were better served having state-controlled media as compared to having media houses that are struggling but are providing an atmosphere and an ecosystem that gives them choice and prevents the control of critical information and critical conversation. I have a smart number. My telephone is a smart number. The reason I have a smart number is because the existence of smart for me is a beautiful thing. When I have experienced what I've experienced in the past, when we've had the kind of monopoly control, whether it was private or government or both, the trauma stays with me.
And for XTV's Evan Mose Hyde, the trauma from the last BTL exercise monopoly control still haunts him.
BTL had complete control. This would be sometime around 2007. And it was at that time controlled by the Ashcroft Alliance, who are now selling out, wanting to sell out. But they had control of BTL. I spoke on the matter of the union leader at the time being fired. And as a result, we were not just punished by ads being taken away. At the time, the ability to get online came completely through the portal BelizeWeb.com. And we were taken out. Taken down and could no longer be accessed. That set us back significantly. We paid a price, but you take your lick. You understand that your spoken principle, you deal with it. But you can't forget. Let's say in the media houses, all of us go broke and you only have Channel 5. Well, what you do? You have to live with that. But it was not something that was manipulated into existence and paid to become into existence. That's what we are talking about here. So it's more than just whether or not the cable companies are in the package or not. Fundamentally, a government influenced private company, quote unquote, is taking up a strategy to create a monopoly, and it's, in our view, it's going backwards and creating the kind of structure that lends itself to the small-mindedness and the vindictiveness that we have experienced as a cultural norm here in Belize. I'm afraid for that we don't take a lick, and that's where we are on that matter.
And Plus TV's Louis Wade also had to stand on business, even if that meant losing millions of dollars. Here's more.
For us at Plus TV, we have always been a fragile entity. We entered into media because we felt that our opinions needed to be shared within the country. So it was not a financial decision that entered Plus TV into the media. And that is the only thing that keeps us there. We had, at least 10 years ago or more, we had a staff of up to 14 people. And these governments know how to use these systems to silence you or to squeeze you out, and then you know that you have to speak, so you just watch the money walk through the door. And sometimes it's millions of dollars over the years. So we have shrunk to about 7, half of our total size, and we have never been able to recover. So we have not recovered. The fact that I am not in media doesn't have anything to do with we said no. It has to do with we have to find other avenues to keep the doors open. And any monopoly, just as the people are saying in their comments, just as those who have now been silenced and are putting in their resignation, it is not good for the country of Belize.
And while BTL and the media were already on shaky ground, now they've also lost public trust since they were negotiating this deal in the shadows and through multiple conflicts of interest. And like Channel 7 news director Jules Vasquez pointed out, there were no numbers disclosed until the Ashcroft Alliance's press release.
Indeed, they came at the very last minute to try and make a public case, when we have been asking literally since June 2nd is when we first raised this issue, but there has been deliberate secrecy and obfuscation, and it is until Sunday when the Ashcroft released it's the first time we've seen any numbers. It confirms the number we have been reporting, but it's the first time anybody say 80 million for Smart. Okay. The Briseños own a total of 22%. Okay, so the Briseños family stands to benefit 22% of 80. That's 18 million. The Ashcroft Alliance and so money will be paid. But it took an Ashcroft Alliance release because the chairman on Friday was deliberately, you don't know the numbers, he send you to the next one. He never a Financial Services Commission, you have to check the numbers. I'm just saying that on Friday was a deliberate attempt to make a pitch that this is necessary while treating the democracy like we are fools.
And Hyde lamented that while the content that media houses produce, whether it be the nightly news or morning talk shows, is still valuable to BTL and the cable companies, their concerns aren't being heard. And though these companies on the line might have hoped for a buyout to swoop in and save them, Hyde said there's no one's coming to their rescue.
What do you do when people act as if though you are nothing that the same thing? Because you produce content, then you use your content, but you don't got a lot of money, so no bother with me. We have to sit down every day and watch money to spend on Google ads, Facebook ads, and no, pay GST, brother. But when you come buy ads for me, you have to pay GST. Fundamentally, that unequal and unjust. I don't want to get worked up on it. My brother here know that one of my pet thing there where I hate. Because if when the hotel people they say Airbnb can't exist and not they pay hotel tax, there was a response. When the media have a problem with the calamitous reality where technology they bring to it, even before AI, that don't nobody got a problem. That don't nobody got a problem that we content that one of the main reasons why somebody want any of these local streamers when they could just get Netflix, when they could just get Fire Stick. But your news and the talk shows still have gravity, still have leverage. Yeah, we are use it, but we don't want to hear your complaint. We don't want to hear we don't want to hear your cries. That no matter. I tell you today, this meeting here, this press thing here, this is about we and what we feel. And so no can tell we know about nobody no want feel nearly tore the pinch. Meanwhile, I got 10 load of brick on my head. I don't want to hear about your little brother. To hell with your little. To hell with your can. Brick them on my head. And I hear you ball. And let's go, you know. That's what I feel.
And while the media knows its own pain, Cabinet doesn't know anything about the BTL's planned acquisition of SpeedNet. Last week, you heard Senior Minister Francis Fonseca disclaim any knowledge, and so did Minister Kareem Musa. Musa noted that the matter is expected to reach Cabinet for discussion tomorrow, and he conceded that there should be public buy-in because BTL is involved. Here's more.
Have you as a cabinet member been briefed on the proposed BTL acquisition of SpeedNet?
Not at the cabinet level. I haven't been briefed on it, but I have been paying attention to it. Obviously, it's something that has been intensely scrutinized, so to speak, not just by the media, but also by civil society. And I was able to see some of the remarks made at the press conference last week. So in terms of the nuts and bolts, we have not been briefed on that, but it is expected that at tomorrow's cabinet, this will be a matter for discussion.
Do you believe that the cabinet should have been briefed first, being that this is a publicly owned utility?
I've heard the remarks of the chairman of BTL saying that it's a private company, but as you rightly pointed out, it is a government-owned private company. And so I believe that we should be very upfront in terms of the information, not just to cabinet, but to the wider public in terms of disclosure, in terms of all of the nuts and bolts. This is a very significant merger, a significant acquisition, I believe a total of 170 million. And so there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. And so I think that publicly presenting that to get the buy-in from the public is vital.
And when interrogated on the Briceño family members being part owners of the companies up for acquisition, the minister was super cautious and proved that he has a firm grasp of what's being reported nightly in the news.
I have seen the Prime Minister on numerous occasions actually say that he's not an owner of the company. His family owns the company, I believe, Centaur, and has shares in SpeedNet. And so the Prime Minister has actually recused himself in terms of discussing this matter. And so, but that is not to say that his family does have an interest in it. I believe his brother Jaime and his cousin have an interest in it.
Your initial reaction to Centaur and CTI seemingly pulling out of this deal?
Well, from what I understand, they are not pulling out because of the details of the transaction. They believe, and BTL believes, it's a good transaction for the benefit of BTL and for the benefit of Belize. I believe it is more because of the reputational burdens. I believe that's what is referred to in the letter. And so that doesn't say anything about the transaction itself, the merits or demerits of it. And so that is what they have provided in their release.
But when asked about what he thinks about the acquisition, he said he has questions, especially in light of an emerging Starlink internet provider.
I can't say at this point. Like other members of the board, I have questions. I am not at all familiar with the details of the acquisition aside from the global sum of what it's going to cost for the cable companies and for SpeedNet. And so there are a lot of questions, especially in the advent of technology and innovation and international competition that I believe our forecasting has to consider. And I'm speaking specifically about Starlink at this point, but it might be something in addition to Starlink in the coming years. And so all of these are factors that we need to consider when making a decision. So again, it is my hope that those questions can be answered.
And while there are a lot of questions, none of the parties involved in the sale seems especially bothered by what the Public Utilities Commission has or doesn't have to say. For some perspective, we asked the opinion of the former chairman of the PUC, John Avery, and he was in that office for 12 and a half years. He says that Belize's entire Telecommunications Act is framed around the expectation that there will be competition. He said that BTL's plan to simply buy out its competitor and create a monopoly runs clearly afoul of the spirit and letter of the law. Here's more.
PUC does not have to approve it. It says that if you have any sale, that sort of thing, and you do it without prior approval, that's an offense. But that law doesn't say that PUC has to approve anything. It says that before PUC approve it, you have to see if they frustrate the objects of the act. And clearly this would frustrate the object of the act, which is to promote competition. And the penalties for these violations for licensees, and I'm telling you, the penalties for anti-competitive behavior under the Telecom Act is harsher than any act in this country. Not only you have these fines and potential jail time, after all of this, they say you must forfeit your license. If you're you must forfeit your license to the PUC.
They want to buy out the assets of Smart and the 3 cable companies. If that proceeds, they would be violating the act by that mere action of
and their license, yes, basically. Because you admit it, you're getting rid of the competitor. You're doing this in order to affect competition. Why else would you do it? For 38 years, the government has been saying that is how we're going. A previous government cost us hundreds of millions of dollars saying we're implementing competition. And to ignore all of that, and to do what we're doing it now, to me, what does it say about how our country is being managed?
We'll have more on that interview with Avery in tomorrow's newscast. And we take a break now, but when we come back, we'll show you the broad daylight murder in the city. And for the first time in months, we'll talk to the Commissioner of Police. Stay tuned for more news.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Shop smart for your Samsung devices in Belize and enjoy benefits you won't get anywhere else. When you shop locally for your Samsung, all your devices will be covered by a 1-year local warranty. You won't get that when shopping with the other guys. When in doubt, always look for the Cellular World seal to know you're getting the real deal. Shop with confidence and enjoy your Galaxy knowing that it can be repaired locally at our Samsung Service Center by certified Samsung technicians using original parts and machinery. Even better, enjoy the best LTE experience in Belize, knowing that your Samsung devices are compatible with major local carrier networks. Get the ultimate Samsung Galaxy experience only when you shop from authorized Samsung resellers nationwide.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
This year, Belize felt more connected than ever. We stood with the moments that shape us, our culture, our youth, our stories. And we lifted young dreams even higher, powered by advancement and possibility. Everywhere, Belize is growing, and as the nation evolves, so does the way we connect. This year, Belize showed its light, and we were honored to drive innovation across the country. As we look ahead, our promise is simple: to unite communities, nurture dreams, and continue leading Belize's digital transformation. From our Digi family to yours, wishing you a bright and prosperous 2026.
Happy New Year!
No Wi-Fi.
You might want to sing it note for note, don't worry.
Yo, bro, need your help.
Happy.
Excuse me, class.
In every life we
Bro, I
have
have smart
some
Apple, I smart
trouble.
too.
But when you worry, you make it double, don't worry. Be happy.
Wherever the coastal road takes you, don't worry, be happy. Smart has you covered. Smart, bringing people together.
As leader of the opposition, what's going to happen if, God forbid, they were to win and he becomes prime minister? What is he going to do with respect to BTL and SpeedNet at that juncture? What is he going to do with respect to the competition, to the conflict that must continue to prevail between SpeedNet, Smart, which his family owns, and I say he also owns, versus a BTL? What is he going to do if he ever gets into power? He's going to try and hobble BTL. It'll be a sellout all over again. They probably can't physically sell it because it's in the Constitution. But, Madam Speaker, I can bet they would absolutely undercut BTL for Smart. That is what the people of this country must remember.
Enhanced service and faster sickness benefit claim processing are at your fingertips with SSB's healthcare feature, accessible via the My Social Security self-service portal. Your convenience during illness is key. Now your doctor can certify your period of illness, and your employer can confirm your employment details digitally, eliminating the need to visit our office. But wait, it gets better. You can also review the medical certificate provided by your doctor in your My Social Security account, along with real-time processing updates, keeping you informed. To ensure a smooth process, always review your electronic medical certificate before you hit submit. Upon submission, your employer is notified via email of your claim submitted to SSB and must respond within 48 hours for your claim to be automatically processed. For more information, check out our guides on our website and YouTube pages. Social Security at your fingertips.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with another top story where Saturday afternoons in the Pound Yard area of Belize City are always busy. But that didn't stop a gunman from shooting and killing a man inside Constitution Park. Our very own Jo Marie Lanza reports on this story.
He was still alive when police found him slumped over inside this police booth at Constitution Park on Saturday afternoon. But by the time they transported 28-year-old Kyron Armstrong to the KHMH, he passed away shortly after from his injuries. And now police have been trying to pinpoint why he was the target and who was in the area before the shooting happened.
Upon the arrival of the officers, they observed a male person in a booth on that compound, and the male person exhibited several apparent gunshot wounds to the body. He was transported to the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital for medical attention. However, he later succumbed to the injuries that he sustained. The male person was identified as Kyron Dwayne Armstrong, a 28-year-old Belizean of Farbers Road Extension. What the investigation has so far suggested is that Mr. Armstrong was inside the booth and a male person who wore a helmet entered that booth and fired several shots which resulted in his demise. The male person then made his escape on board a motorcycle. Police have retrieved a number of video footages which shows the activity of those suspected persons prior to and after the incident and they are being carefully reviewed.
ASP Smith says that there have been previous attempts on Armstrong's life, and now they are relying on surveillance footage to catch his killer.
Yes, Mr. Armstrong is known to police. Most recently, we made contact with Mr. Armstrong, given that he is believed to have been the intended target in a shooting that occurred in December of 2025. No, the suspects have not been identified. However, the reviewing of those footages are hoped to be of use in that regard.
Armstrong leaves behind a 4-year-old daughter. And another weekend death was accidental. Though tonight, the Belize Police Department is mourning one of its young officers after he was killed in a road traffic accident. PC Eduardo Cus was driving his Lifan brand motorcycle on the Philip Goldson Highway when it happened. ASP Stacy Smith explained what they observed at the scene.
Police are investigating a traffic accident which resulted in the death of 28-year-old Edward Cus, a Belizean police constable of Belize City. The investigation commenced on Sunday, 11 January 2026 at approximately 8:40 p.m. when officers of the Precinct 4 jurisdiction were advised that an accident occurred near mile 1.5 on the Philip Golson Highway. The officers proceeded to that location where they observed the unresponsive body of a male person who was later identified as Kus, and also on the scene was a Lifan brand motorcycle which was damaged. What the investigation has so far suggested is that Kus was traveling on his motorcycle to Belize City when he lost control and collided into a metal lamppost that is located on the median in the highway. PC Kus has been a serving member of the Belize Police Department for just over 4 years, and the loss of Mr. Kus is certainly mourned by the ministry as well as the department. Though he has only amassed 4 years of service, by all indications, he was a very dedicated and committed police officer.
It is of note that Kus was wearing a helmet when he crashed. And in another road traffic accident story, a young woman is lucky to be alive today after she collided into an industrial-sized plow on the highway being towed by a Freightliner truck. It happened on Friday night on the St. Matthews Bridge. ASP Smith gave us more details about the scene of the accident.
On Friday night, January 2026, at approximately 8:26 p.m., Roaring Creek Police visited the Beaver Dam Bridge on the George Price Highway after being alerted of a traffic accident at that location. The responding officers observed a silver in color four-door Nissan Rogue SUV on the right side of the bridge, which was damaged, and they also observed a industrial-sized plow disc lodged in the roof of that vehicle. Observed trapped in the vehicle was 34-year-old Monique Williams, who showed injury to the head and the body. Williams was extracted from the vehicle and transported for medical attention and is now listed in a stable condition. What we have learned so far in the course of this investigation is that around 8:15 p.m., Raymond Martinez was driving a Freightliner truck which had a plow that was extended the entire length of the bridge, and Miss Williams was traveling in the opposite direction. Miss Williams became lodged under the plow, and the injuries and damage to the vehicle as reported is what occurred. Police have since issued a notice of intended prosecution to Raymond Martinez in connection to this incident.
And we return now to one of our top stories, where a mother of two endured a terrifying experience this morning as she was driving to Valley of Peace for work. Before she could even get to the village, she was stopped by men who claimed to be working for a Mexican cartel and questioned about her identity and if she were a police officer. She says they then demanded that she ask her family for an exorbitant ransom for her release. She told us that if she didn't get the courage to drive off under threat of being shot, she doesn't know what would have happened to her. She spoke to us off camera today in detail.
I went there this morning for work, but before I could reach my location, I was pulled off to the side of the road and I was held at gunpoint until they could verify that I'm not police or military. They forced me to contact a family member, and once my family member was contacted, they told that person that they had to pay a fee for entering this location without permission. They then also tried to get that money out of me. But once I realized that there wasn't anyone immediately near me, and because I was sitting in my vehicle, I was able to speed off and get out of the situation. But it was scary. I don't know or feel like it was maybe targeted. I feel like maybe I was at the wrong place, wrong time, but it felt like all my rights were violated because as a Belizean, I didn't know that there were places in my country that I couldn't access or that my life could be in danger or I had to pay thousands of dollars to walk out of the situation or with to preserve my life. It told me that I didn't need to be afraid, that they were members of a Mexican cartel, and that if they could verify that I wasn't police or military, they would let me go. They asked my mother for 200,000 quetzales because, well, I didn't want to give away, I didn't want to call anybody. And so I thought because she's in Guatemala, that was the safest person to give them. And I told them that she was in a very poor, remote village so that they wouldn't think about asking for a ransom, but they still did. And after they spoke to her, they told me that I had to pay them $10,000 so that my vehicle wouldn't be burnt or so that they wouldn't shoot at my vehicle as well. I was crying, of course, because my entire life flashed before me in the 30 minutes that they held me, and they were very serious about it. They told me I couldn't move, I couldn't go, and I don't know where I got the courage to step on my gas and speed out of there.
Have you gone to the police?
No, I haven't gone to the police. I'm a bit scared, I guess, but I do think that Belizeans need to know that this is happening.
She is hoping that police will be able to increase their presence in the area so that other Belizeans don't have to go through the same experience. Meanwhile, over the weekend, we told you that police and customs had intercepted a Guatemalan licensed vehicle in Benqueviejo carrying illegal ammunition. Well, today, police provided us with more information on how they came across the vehicle and the charges levied against those persons. Here's more.
Police have formally arrested and charged 50-year-old Nestor Galdames and 30-year-old Eduardo Galdames, both of whom are Guatemalan nationals, for the offense of kept prohibited ammunition. These arrests follow a search that was conducted by MIU personnel on Friday, 9 January 2026 at approximately 3:45 p.m. on Hydro Road in the Cayo district. The MIU personnel reported that they were on mobile patrol in the area when their attention was drawn to a pursuit that was being conducted by custom personnel who were following a black in color Hilux pickup truck. When the vehicle was intercepted and the search was conducted, found therein were the 14 live rounds of .40 millimeter ammunition.
And on Friday, we told you that police had charged a 25-year-old Camalote resident for the murder of Mark Gabriel, an employee of Caribbean Chicken, Belmopan. We asked ASP Smith for more details today as to whether a second person is expected to be charged.
As a consequence of the investigation into the murder of Mark Anthony Gabriel that occurred on Wednesday, 7th January 2026, on Friday, 9th January 2026, police formally arrested and charged 25-year-old William Koye, a Belizean laborer of Camalote Village, Cayo District, for the crime of murder. A second person is in police's custody in relation to this incident, and the public will be advised as to the status of the investigation in relation to that person in due course. The investigations and the retrieval of items of exhibits are what supported police's action in relation to the arrest.
And now we turn our attention to a story with the Commissioner of Police as 2025 ended with a mass shooting, murders, and robberies. The new year has started on a similar note. While speaking with the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Richard Rosado, he expressed that they are doing their very best. Here's more.
I understand the fear. I understand what the plight the public is going through. And we are doing all that is possible, including our lawful tools, proven policing strategies, and strategic partnership to address any violence that occur. I also would like to highlight that we are leveraging technology to assist us in crime prevention, in improving our investigative capacity, and also in ensuring that we create safer community. I must also highlight that our investigators now have a wide network of cameras across the country, license plate readers, facial recognition, and advanced analytical tools that are available at their disposal that can readily identify and track an individual and vehicle when a crime occurs.
And while citizen security is one thing, businesses also feel under constant and direct threat as their drivers and stores are being targeted. The Compol says that he fully intends to meet with stakeholders soon. Here's more.
I also have discussed with several of the business community that we intend to meet with them because we can only do so much. We need the community, we need the business owner to assist us in helping to prevent any incident from happening because the business owners, they play a critical role also.
We also asked the Compol to comment on the DPP, who has described the case file for Joseph Budna kidnapping as containing less than nothing. She's the expert, but the Compol is sticking to his guns.
So the DPP said that the police generated a less than nothing file on Budna. What was your reaction to that?
I maintain that someone is entitled to their perspective of something, and I will not comment on somebody's perspective of something, but I will maintain that I have full confidence in the integrity of the investigative process and in the professional capacity of the investigators.
The Compol also discussed how a cop who has been identified as a principal player in that kidnapping, Barry Flowers, is on interdiction, but will with full pay, that is. According to the Compol, that is just department policy.
I'll switch it up a little bit then, sir. I'll ask about Barry Flowers. He is still on full pay instead of interdiction during this investigation. Could you explain why?
The policy of the department that an individual is suspended while an investigation is ongoing. It is also the policy of the department, if a police officer is arrested and charged, then they automatically go into interdiction. So there's a policy in place and we are abiding by the policies of the department.
And on November 29th, over 200 police officers sat promotional examinations. Results were released last week, but a pass in the exam does not guarantee a promotion. According to the Compol, the number of passes exceed the number of vacancies. Here's more.
Police officers, a number of police officers took the exam several weeks ago. The exam was prepared and corrected by an independent body. That independent body then submitted the results of the investigation, the results of the examination to my office, and that the result have been published in our departmental order.
So we know that passing the exam does not automatically equate to getting a promotion. And so how are promotions decided on?
And it is true, we have more passes than vacancies that exist. So the next step would be for the interview process. The interview process will then basically decide who will move up to the next rank.
We met Rosado today also at the launch of a new biometric data sharing initiative with the United States. They say it's aimed at strengthening border security, improving migration management, and enhancing national safety. But is it all just about data capturing and migration tracking? Jaliza Roberts was at the official handing over ceremony and tells us more.
Belize and the United States today officially launched the Biometric Data Sharing Partnership, or BDSP, an initiative designed to enhance border security, strengthen migration management, and safeguard national safety. The program includes the handover of approximately $250,000 worth of biometric software and hardware. Chargé d'Affaires, Catherine Beamer, explained the collaboration with the government.
Through the BDSP, we are not only sharing critical biometric data to bolster the safety of Belize and the United States, But most importantly, we are exchanging expertise, building capacity, and promoting best practices in border security. So the software that you see and the hardware over here is just one piece of the story. This is the beginning of a long partnership between Belize and the United States devoted to increasing border security in both our countries. The BDSP brings together policymakers, agency leaders, and technical experts from both nations with a unified goal: to establish a secure, efficient, and transparent biometric system that advances Belize's border security priorities while contributing to the broader security of the United States, the region, and the hemisphere. Please allow me just a few minutes to highlight a few key aspects of what the BDSP means for Belize. This initiative will provide Belize with access to data from the Department of Homeland Security's IDENT database. So this database is one of the world's largest biometric-based law enforcement data sets. So we have countries from all over the world that are providing information, and we are sharing it with our partners like Belize. This will help Belize's own efforts to protect Belize's borders.
Minister Musa confirmed that the system is already being used at some border points, with full national rollout expected within the next 2 to 3 months. It will be used as a secondary screening tool, enabling immigration officials to verify the identities of certain travelers.
There are screening processes that take place. Of course, there is the initial screening process, followed by what could be described as a very lengthy secondary process in the event an individual is providing misleading information as it relates to their travel documents or their travel purpose. And so this will certainly expedite that process because now we're going to be tapping into international database regarding a particular individual, like I said, who is or may be subjected to secondary screening.
When the agreement was announced, citizens had concerns about the safety of their information. But Musa says Belizeans won't be affected.
If you are a Belizean national, you actually have nothing to worry about coming into Belize because we have all your information already. This is for international travelers who are providing an international passport that may be fraudulent or a travel document that may be fraudulent, or criminal enterprises entering our country for nefarious activities. And so this is more catered towards them. Like I said, this is something that is a secondary screening, and so not everyone is going to be subjected to this. It is only if you're providing misleading information or if an immigration officer is suspicious.
The initiative is already in place in several regional countries and has already made a difference in crime-fighting efforts.
This BDSP is something that is already within our region. So Belize is not the first country to do this in conjunction with the United States of America. There's also Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica that have subscribed to this, and that, of course, it has enhanced their migration in their country.
As part of the program, the Belize Police Department's Mobile Interdiction Unit will play a critical role ensuring that everyone who enters the country is legal and recognized.
We want to know who you are. So this is about identity. This is about people who come to Belize, sometimes with fraudulent passports, and we have no idea who they are. This will enable us to ensure that we verify your identity. But it's not only at the border points. So the Mobile Interdiction Unit will be moving around Belize, and they can and will stop personnel and identify them if they have passed the border points already. We have several areas along the border that are porous, that we cannot control. In those areas, the Mobile Interdiction Unit is going to make sure that they identify these people.
The rollout is expected to be complete within the coming months. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
And while Rosado was open paquet at today's event, he hasn't been in front of our cameras since August 25th. Well, today that changed and we were in for a New Year treat. When questioned about it, though, the commissioner said he has not been dodging the media, and if invited, he would talk on our Sunup couch too. Here's more.
I do maintain that I appreciate and I recognize the role that the media play. The responsible and objective media. However, my primary duty, I maintain, is my operational duties, hence the reason we have a complete public relations office. However, I acknowledge the role of the responsible and objective media, and I'm open to a frank and open discussion with the media. Any media hosts that have invited me, I have shown up.
So if we invite you next week to come on Sun Up, you will come?
Definitely have been on Sun Up several times. And it's on record that I have been on Sun Up.
And of course, we'll let you know when he'll be on the couch. And we take a break now, but when we come back, a history of denial. We'll show you how the Prime Minister and others denied the Speednet and cable acquisition for months. Stay tuned for more news.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Hey Belize! Our country is known worldwide for its natural beauty, from our barrier reef to our rainforest. But there's a growing threat to our paradise. Global plastic production has skyrocketed to 400 million tons per year, and without action, plastic waste flowing into our waters will nearly triple by 2040, from around 11 million tons in 2016 to around 29 million tons in 2040. Here at home, the situation is just as concerning. In 2024 alone, Belize imported over 13.3 million plastics and over 12 million plastic lids and caps. What might seem like just one plastic bottle or one chips bag adds up quickly. During our National Cleanup Day, almost 26,000 plastic bottles were collected, and that's just one day of effort. But here's the good news. We can all be part of the solution. Use waste bins, keep a litter bag in your car, wait until you find a proper disposal site. These simple actions make a real difference. Join us in keeping Belize clean. Our Belize, our responsibility. Bini.
Name me 3 tongues in country of Belize.
2 tongues?
Out
of tongue?
I see trees of green, red This is the map of Belize.
Barrier Reef and Blue Hole.
Can anyone volunteer to fight?
We want you to see what it is your parents do, how hard they work for you.
Bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night.
Uncle Cordell.
You want chocolate, right? It's fun many times. Lots of work.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with a story where he's the head of state for the country with one of the world's fastest growing economies. And next month, the president of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, is scheduled to visit Belize. He will be here from February 1st to the 3rd. And the ceremonial highlight of his trip will come when President Ali addresses the opening of the new session of Parliament. He will also visit the productive sector, and it is expected that a number of cooperation agreements will be signed during his visit. And at the top of the newscast, you heard the latest on BTL's proposed acquisition of SpeedNet and the other cable companies. But what you didn't hear over the last 7 months of us reporting about this deal is a confirmation from the Prime Minister that negotiations were happening. In fact, he tried to dodge the question every time we put it to him. And Courtney Mezes took a look at all the times we did ask and where we were met with evasion, elision, deflection, and dodging.
While BTL only just confirmed their proposed acquisition of SpeedNet and the 3 largest cable companies in Belize, Channel 7 has been reporting on it since June. We first broke the news on the Monday Morning Beef, June 2nd.
There are only 2 cable companies in the country now, right? CTI, Central Television and Internet, and Centaur, which is owned by the Prime Minister's family. And I have been hearing rumblings that there is a package deal to purchase those cable companies. But bundled in there, I'm reliably told, and these are just conversations that have been going on for years, but I get the impression they're more serious this time. That Smart may also be bundled in there.
2 days later, BTL issued a press release. In that statement, they didn't deny the proposed acquisition, only reiterated that those types of discussions were not new, and that they, quote, have consistently leveraged our unique market position to pursue strategic opportunities that strengthen and diversify our revenue base. Regardless, the reports became more persistent, and 2 weeks after we initially broke the news, News Director Jules Vasquez raised the alarm again.
It is being discussed at the highest level, at the highest corporate level of BTL, a massive amalgamation or a consolidation of cable, internet, and phone to create once more a national monopoly. Now, we all know that a monopoly is against the instincts of consumers. We've been told for so many years that competition is what drives good service.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this will contradict that, and you know, it's complicated on many levels, but I want to make clear. My greatest concern is if you put all the cable services, all the internet services into the hands of a company, BTL, that is politically run. Under the current circumstances, you are creating a monopoly that can say, Jules Vasquez, Channel 7, you tick me off today, cut heap on the cable.
And these discussions were happening behind closed doors, rooms that even the cabinet and BTL's board were not in. And if you asked the Prime Minister, which we did multiple times, he denied any knowledge of it. Can you talk about this rumored sale of Smart to BTL? Is that the rumored sale of Smart to BTL, is that going through?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to people at BTL and the people at Smart.
You are the supermajority of the, or you appoint, sorry, the supermajority of the board, and your family owns Smart. If this sale were to go through, wouldn't it be a conflict of interest?
I wish it to be my family owns Smart. But those things are discussed at the management level, and then it goes to the board. I can assure you that if something were to happen, it has to be in the interest of BTL and the interest of the Belizean people.
As you look it over, one has to ask, are you looking it over as a future parent company or the owner of your family-owned business, SpeedNet? Is that deal still live?
I think you need to talk to other people about that. I would not comment on that. I have nothing to do with that. And maybe you need to talk to Jaime. His number.
BTL is always interested in becoming more efficient.
we had put out a statement to that effect. It's a pity when we never properly request that information. But rather than speculate and cause mischief, which your station is famous for, mischief makers. But yes, the short answer is we're always looking for new opportunities.
Is there a timeline for the BTL acquisition of SpeedNet?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the people at BTL.
Sir, but what would be the public explanation given considering that it is sort of a conflict of interest with BTL and SpeedNet being owned by your family members?
So then why do you ask me that question? You feel that there's a conflict of interest. I have said already that I'm not involved with it. And if you want to know from the personal or from the business side from my family, you need to go and speak to them. Don't speak to me about it. I'm only saying it very respectfully.
We even tried asking Senior Minister Francis Fonseca, who confirmed that the matter hadn't been brought to Cabinet.
Certainly that issue has not been brought up to Cabinet. So I would not know anything about that. It certainly has not been discussed in Cabinet to date.
We've also been told that the board has not been consulted, even though the period of gestation of this deal has been ongoing. What do you make of this, the fact that it's sort of happening in the dark?
I really can't comment because I don't know. I don't know if you're saying that's the fact. I don't know that to be a fact. I would think that the board would be consulted and that the board would be apprised of the developments if in fact those developments are taking place. So I wouldn't be able to comment beyond that. I can speak, as I said, in terms of Cabinet. We certainly have not been, any information on this issue has not been shared with us.
It was not shared with even the BTL board until the last minute, which is why this director resigned. But for 7 months, it has been a game of corporate hide and seek, while negotiations were held behind closed doors.
This is a private company, so the decisions that we make here not necessarily need public consultation.
Private company, but publicly owned. And now, with the prospect of an emerging monopoly, boardroom decisions with major police implications. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
And in other news, the last cabinet reshuffle saw Kareem Musa leave Home Affairs and the Belize Police Department and take on the Ministry of Immigration, Labor and Governance. He has commenced his countrywide tours, but when asked, he admitted that he does indeed miss the police. Here's more.
I miss the police ministry. Minister Mira is right here, but I certainly am enjoying my time here at immigration as well. I am absolutely impressed by the level of professionalism here at immigration, labor and governance. I'm continuing my tour. There are a lot of other departments and offices that I need to visit, but it's been a very welcoming experience and I look forward to continuing to serve.
But Campol Rosado has moved on, and as they say, his affections are elsewhere. He spoke in glowing terms about the impact he and new minister, Oscar Mira, can have.
What has it been like to transition with the new minister?
I welcome it because our vision, we have similar vision and our ideology align. So I welcome they are coming into our department. I believe they will create that. They will challenge our assumption, and it will allow us to create more innovative policing strategies. So I am happy that they are on board with us.
Would you say now that you would be able to execute more, being that you guys are aligned vision,
I personally believe that with them coming on board, you will see more innovative, more technology in our crime fighting effort.
And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Monday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good night and join me back here tomorrow at the same time. Have a good night, folks.